Hey guys, and welcome back to Jaraci Cup 6. Going to be continuing coverage now of the quarterfinals. This time going to be between Shrike, who's Cold Blow Chode? Cold Blow Code in the chat, and Descara, who is Descara in the chat, I guess. So they're both here actually to watch this, which is pretty fun. I've gotten some water, so I'm not going to die, so that's nice. And yeah, it's going to be Galzian versus Soban. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm pretty excited for this. Where's my pick bag document? What am I doing? Here we go. So Shrike picking Savan first, and I think that's not terribly like surprising, right? Because I think he favors Savan over Coalition right now. But Descara gonna not favor the mirror matchup. Instead, he goes straight into Galzian. So that's pretty fun to see. He just doesn't usually what do I say? He doesn't usually play Galzian in series. Like, he has this faction pretty well in the bag here, but he doesn't usually play it in these best of fives, so it's kind of fun to watch. Yeah, this is game one. I mean, it's not like we could have cast the whole game while you were gone. Descara is beast with Galzian. Oh, yeah, well, the thing is, he was always pretty good with Galzian because he is, like, really, he's really into, like, build orders, you know what I mean? And yeah, exactly. He tries to perfect things, right? And so what he does is like he does a lot of like labbing. He does a lot of really interesting, in-depth like testing of timings and like how many RUs and Cs he gets ahead and stuff like that. And this makes his coalition play really rock solid. But like Galzian, I think benefits even more from this. You're gonna notice, by the way, it's gonna be ref mode first here. Sand skimmers are being teched before any additional salves are produced. That's usually the way to play this. And what I'm really interested in seeing here. When Descara plays Galzian, he doesn't just like do what everyone else is doing. He like finds a new style, it seems, almost every time. And I'm really interested to see like what that's going to be in this case. So ref mode is done here. Rec is going to be opened. Soldiers being locked onto CUs first, and we do have AAV Fab coming out after SC first from Shrike. So this is a very meta build from both of these players. Nothing really strange so far. And they'll both look for the extract now. One thing I think Shrike could definitely do here is just make like a couple of LAVs, and then you just pressure. Oh yeah, look at that, a couple of LAVs. You just kind of pressure this base runner and try and stop it from extracting. I think this is a bit too late though, but I usually like that move and just like see if he can stop this extraction going through. It's gonna be just fine though if he gets an extract out like this, and this LAV looks like instead is gonna be to scout. Obviously he's got a probe too, so like he knows about the sand skimmer for example, but always nice to have an LAV out on the field to like have two areas that you're looking at once. Makes it a lot harder for your opponent to hide stuff from you. And assault chip tech going to be the choice for Descara. He generally has favored assault chips over other units. But I think important to note is that he actually he started the second PC before assault chip fab began, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to be pretty relevant as well, because obviously that's a pretty greedy thing to do, but he thinks he can get away with it. And if you look at like this side of the field, like, yeah, he's going to get away with it. There's nothing here to punish him, so this is very, very well done by Descara. This is why, by the way, the probe is so valuable for the Galzian player, because he's able to do stuff like this, where he now has the second PC on the queue before he even like starts the tech for like the first unit type. And like, look at this Fleet Cap 45 coming out just now. So this is like no money wasted, basically. And it's a very fun way to play Galzian here. Yeah. I definitely agree with that statement. Which is why, again, I'll say, this is why Conef has a weakness in the early game, in that they can't see if their opponent has got tech or not, because they don't have a scanner, so... Oh shoot, I heard about this! I heard about this. So, normally when you see this PC come out, what you're thinking is like, okay, so now what he does is he goes for, now what he does is he goes for 3-base, right? But I heard that Descara was using the PC's frontline production actually to fight, so I think what he's going to do is actually send this guy up to the front line. Oh, and that means he doesn't have to get anti-air. Oh my gosh. This is actually so strong. Okay, I'm excited to see how this works then. This is going to be super interesting. Relevant information though, does this salvager die here? Smoke could actually, I think, confirm it. It will. Yes, he gets the salvager kill. Excellent. Good micro there from Shrike. Descara again to win the race to the PC. I love the targeting jammer to just try and slow him down. It's really cute, but it doesn't look like he's gonna get it. Galzian base runners, of course, should usually win in that kind of fight. I think they're not faster, but like Oh my god, he's really freaking slow right now. Look at this guy. Oh, I'm gonna get there eventually. This is hilarious. If you've ever played my joke patch, if you want reference, this is how fast BCs move in the joke patch. So like, it's pretty freaking slow. Another support cruiser comes out for Shrike. It's gonna be moving up onto his third base. But he probably needs railgun tech here. If he doesn't have it, he has fighter and gunship instead. If that's the case though, I'd like to see him just making them. Yeah, there we go. No, he's not gonna do it. Although, actually, maybe he shouldn't make them, because that would sort of play into Descara's style here, wouldn't it? Obviously, what he wants to do here, he's got actually pretty decent, and by the way, artifact was denied from Shrike there, so... He's got, like, pretty decent anti-air from this PC. Like, even one PC does quite good anti-air, and he's going to use it in the front line now, and actually use that to just forego anti-air tech entirely. As you can see, he doesn't seem to need missile ships. Easy access to ints. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. And Shrike, by the way, seems to be definitely aware of it. He's not gonna build any strike fighters, looks like, because he knows he's getting pushed here. And I've got to say, actually, my first reaction was like, well, he should build the strike fighters if he has the tech. This was definitely the right call, so I definitely take it back. Oh, okay. Well, you should always be looking for the target, right? Because that obviously is a much better tell. AV's, by the way, going to trade pretty decently here. Does he get this kill? Yeah, okay, in that case, it's quite a good trade. As Descara says, epically bad fight for me, yeah. I would agree, this definitely kind of blunts the aggression here. And now there's maybe a chance he can go for air anyway, and you can see he is. Another PC is out, though, wow. So he's going to go up onto third base and keep this guy in the front line. See, normally, like, when I've been playing, I always unlock the carrier when I do this, but this is really interesting. This is really interesting. Leaving the SC over there was dumb. In the sense that your carrier could have pushed out, maybe? But, like, I don't know. This is fine to me, because obviously you want to get up onto 3 base now. Uh-oh. So Descara now going to keep the pressure up, though. He goes for rail tech. And he's going to tech missile ships anyway. Of course, like, if bombers come out or something, that's going to be really valuable for him, but... Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, because that actually could have contributed to the fight, couldn't it have? Actually, yeah, I agree. I wasn't thinking about that. If you don't have any salvagers yet, you ought to have this guy, you know, repairing. Yeah, frontline missile ship's obviously going to be very strong here. But, he said he couldn't tell if there was tech or not. There is actually air tech here. For sure he's been looking for it, though, so he'll see it now. And indeed, he sees them launching, even. Oh, but he canceled missile ship tech. Uh-oh. So the strike fighter is going to come in here. They're going to try to snipe the heavy rail. This is really important. He wants to micro now, pull these guys away, but he pulls them away the other direction. That's fine. And he's going to get it. So down goes one rail. And you can see this PC has pretty decent anti-air. The question is, can he get this other railgun without losing strike fighters? Smoke comes down onto the main base. Already a lot of cells killed, though. But he can't get this other railgun here. And the strike fighter is just going to run into the PC anti-air and they die. However, look at this. He's on top of this railgun. He's got the speeds. He's not going to lose sight here, so he gets this. And he's on top of these assault ships too. He's got armor 3. He can win this fight. Actually, I guess Descara's got armor 3 as well, but nice. Yeah, he's fighting back. This is awesome. Third artifact comes out for Descara. You got to think that's going to be relevant pretty soon. In fact, what I would love to see is like these two guys just move out to the side here. Maybe try and kill this base runner, but then go for like a backstab. Should have rotated the other flank way earlier. Yes, I agree with that, because this is obviously a very strong angle to attack from. And until you get past, like, this point right... Well, I mean, even then there's high ground there if you had rails, but, like, I feel like you don't really have an advantage as the attacker here, so... I agree with that sentiment. But wow, this style is really strong. I mean, you can see the value, like, immediately. MS Tech is done, by the way. He's just gonna eat the loss. He's got to. If he wants to have more rails, which it seems like he wants to keep this pressure up, and by the way, the pressure clearly is for this base runner. So I'm realizing now with this style, it's gonna be really important to keep this guy alive. Watching these games is almost as stressful as playing them was. But yeah, like he's keeping like infinite pressure so he can extract basically. So having some AVs out on the side to like stop him, that would have been really, really important. The goal should be to deny third. In that, well, you did do damage to main, so this is, I mean, this definitely like worked out. But if that's the case, I think Kartova is a bad map for this actually because the third base is very defensible. Strike Fighters are out here. Now they're going to get warded off by this missile ship, but they do take out an assault railgun anyway. Obviously, good to recognize when you can get damage with air units, even when your opponent has got anti-air. But the real news here is that these AAVs are going to get dunked on. And they don't trade efficiently, of course, with this many numbers. And that is going to open the way for Descara to just continue this extract pressure. It's interesting to see, actually, he's still behind in the units lost tab. But he's definitely ahead in army on the field, which I think is going to be more impactful. Because Shrike has got strike fighters, mind you, but like they're not going to do a whole lot here. And heavy rails are out too, so this is a real like kill threat actually. I gotta say I'm very worried for Shrike at this point. He can't hold this third base, so for sure he needs to like pull off. These rails have high ground too, because obviously this is like Kartova, so he definitely needs to like go up there, but... Oh yeah, it is a bit of a float. Coalition, of course, they've got a lot of RU sinks, so like he doesn't have any LAVs here. That's probably what we're seeing. This fight going pretty well for this guy. Actually, I'm surprised how well he's able to hold on to the third here, but he certainly can't. Oh, the ALM, yeah, it's getting so much value here actually. It's kind of irrelevant though because like this heavy rail siege needs to be stopped. And again, look, if there were a bunch of LAVs on the field, because he's got like enough money for like 14 LAVs, all of a sudden he could fly in and just clean all this up. But he doesn't really have to worry about that. He did get all the cells, that's true. And he seems pretty strong to just continue this this hold here, if he just gets the high ground at least. This missile ship is kind of inting though. Like, what are you even going for? There's no salvagers on the main. Kind of bad micro there on that railgun. Not what you expect to see from Descara, not gonna lie. Oh, is it a rally point? Oh. Yeah, it is. Yeah, look at that. Feels bad, man. Strike Fighter's trying to trade over this PC though, and I really don't like that, because they're all gonna go down for that. Seems like just kind of wasted money to me. Important to note though, like the scoreline is 4-5. So like, if this base runner somehow could extract here, he would actually have won the game already. So if he had taken this fight a little bit better, actually he would already have won. He doesn't need to kill his opponent's carrier. Oh. Is it really though, or can we like just keep watching? Oh yeah, okay. Oh, Descara crashed. Rip in pieces. But Shrike chose to give Descara the win. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna say it seems like Descara was definitely ahead there. Yeah. One thing I gotta say about Shrike, he is definitely a good sportsman. I mean, he's not gonna like... You think Shrike was fine? No, I think Descara was winning there. But for sure it takes humility to like choose to forfeit a game that perhaps you could make an argument could be replayed even though you know you're losing. So... I don't know, dude. I think Descara was just gonna pop back there. Because Shrike for sure had taken more eco loss, but I don't know. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, we're just gonna move on to game 2 here then. Between Shrike and Descara again on Firebase Krill. You never complain about units or factions being imbalanced. Yeah, well, okay, you do that, that's for sure. But like, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, you know, the moments in game where you're just like, yeah, I could like ask for this to be replayed because of some bug, but you know, we're not going to do it. Because to me, you don't complain about like losing a series. That seems nice to me. Like maybe about like the unit balance, but not about like, oh, I lost for this reason, so we need to restart. You know what I'm saying? And I always do like a bit of good sportsmanship. R.I.P. LEV Fab starting out here for Shrike, by the way. So it's not going to be AV Rush, right? Because he already has got all 6 salves here. So I'm wondering what he does. If this is going to be 2 production line LAV, I think he ought to be going for like long distance miners on the CUs here. But I think that is going to be the case. Yep, and there we go. So this is going to be double production LAV going into Descara's ref mode first.
Enemy signature identified.
And we were talking about the math of this in the last series, I suppose, where like A-Game didn't think it could really punish ref mode first, even when it was done sort of poorly. But Descara thinks it can, so well, I'll be interested to see how this plays out, but... Oh no. Oh no. I mean, guys, you know what I'm... Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say. Oh no. Oh no. Anyway, ref mode getting finished now for... Ref mode getting finished for Descara. Yeah, look, man, you can't do this. How many times have I told you? This is such a bad build. It's like support cruiser second, you know what I mean? But it doesn't work. You can do like 5 LAVs into support cruiser and stuff, but like you can't do this. Oh no, that's so bad. He's at least gonna win this fight here, I think, unless actually, you know what, base burner heal is gonna make him win this one. Okay, so this is being kind of a nice micro bit for Descara. I don't think he can deny the scouting though onto the second base, but you can see though he does go with Soul Chip Fab before he goes second PC, so he does expect some kind of rush here. But like, who can blame him? Obviously, this is like an LAV chilling out here, and the only way this could be an eco build with an LAV out here is if it was support cruiser second, which in my opinion is just a lost game for Shrike already. So, because obviously he's up against someone who knows how to punish this kind of stuff. Big overreaction? Yeah, I would agree, because there isn't actually like a rush coming out, but how could you know that, you know what I mean? Well, I guess the base runner could have probed a bit aggressively, but... At least though he does have these sand skimmers out on the field, so he wants to get a bit of pressure if he can with these. And the PC, I expect, will be on the queue any moment now. He does have the money for it. Oh, he needs a fleet capacity. Okay, well, never mind. But probably after that. Dirt, dirtity, dirt. Meanwhile, Descara just kind of scouting out his opponent with these sand skimmers. Keeps a bit of pressure too. I mean, it's important to note that like the sand skimmer's presence means that the AVs can't just like drive straight toward his opponent. Although it's not going to matter, of course. We do have the soul chips out already. But for sure, Descara's game plan here is going to be to try and stop. I almost just said Phoenix, yo. Try and stop Shrike from getting onto that third base. And then he would build another PC on the back of it, and he would drive it onto his third, and then he'll just be ahead on eco forever, essentially. That's kind of like the idea. In which case, I guess he probably wants to like fight around here, because this is where he's got high ground. Kind of can lay like a siege that way. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but for now he's got to be defensive, because obviously a bunch of AVs driving across the map to his side. And he's not building any assault chips here, which is really weird. Just now he's starting to build. But he's got the base runner at home. And the base runner, of course, actually is going to be able to do quite a lot in terms of like using the heal ability to make him win fights that like otherwise he should lose. The second PC here as well, but I'd like to see him just leave the carrier on the main as like defense. And then use this guy on the attack, I suppose. What's the upgrades like? Armor 2, teching for Shrike, and it's done for Descara. And so this is where I'd love to have the base runner like with the assault chips. Yeah, he sees it. He's gonna try to move in. Ooh, he gets it, just barely. He does get the base runner heal off. But definitely this base runner could have been positioned a little bit better here. But you can see how infuriating this is. I mean, like, Shrike just barely killed even one assault chip, let alone, you know, the other ones. That base runner heal is a really strong ability. Descara gonna use it quite well, I'd say. He's gonna trade the skims here to just like get more damage on these AVs, make sure he can get the kills. And a lot of damage dumped into the PC here, but nothing's gonna get done with that. So this guy, of course, even if he drives straight to the enemy, he's gonna be there like with full health. So probably should have backstabbed the skims. Yeah, I would agree actually. Like it's good to like trade with them at first, I suppose, just to make sure that like you win the fight. Because if you lose the fight with the AVs, you're gonna have a bad time. But once they start getting shot at, I think you like drive away. Oh wait, BDs cost 150 again? Oh yeah, they do, right. I forgot about that. I thought they were only 100. Out of the loop, dude. But it's going to be AC tech, by the way, here for Shrike. Actually, I kind of like this, because ACs, I think, are going to be pretty strong against assault ships, but he's not on 3-base, which I don't really like too much. I think, like, you pushed out your opponent, and then once he saw he could defend, I like the idea of just sort of camping. Let him try and push you out, and then you, meanwhile, on the back end, you try to get up onto 3-base as fast as you can. Because Descara, for instance, his third PC is on the way. He's going to be going for 3-base as fast as he can. Oh, and this Sand Skimmer giving, like, unreasonably good scouting here. He gets to the second base like the instant that the AC pops. That's amazing. This should be an extraction, I believe, but the assault ships here are not going to get anything done, so I'd like to see them not being here. It's a little too late, though. Oh yeah, that is pretty late. Still, though, look, you're looking for that third base, like I said, and you're like, okay. It's not there, so I mean, you're ahead already, essentially. Unless this AC can hit for, like, really good damage. And I guess, to be fair, you know, there's nothing stopping him from driving up onto the main. Question is, does he, like, stop to kill this base runner? Oh, I love that scanner. Really good scanner, of course, basically just saying, like, okay, well, this base runner may be forfeit, but I just want to know if he's going to be driving up to my main or not. Because if he is, I want to stop him. If not, I can kind of breathe a little bit and just get up onto my next base. AC anti-air. Really? Yeah, so Assault Cruiser anti-air tech is done now for Shrike. I suppose I don't hate that too much, because obviously you know that there's, oh, pretty good smoke there, but it's not quite good enough. Anyway, you know that there's assault ships here for Shrike, or sorry, for Descara. You could go for air. Yeah. Looks like this will get cleaned up probably just due to carrier sunder, but they already cleaned out like the main base, which is pretty good damage, I would say. Yeah, you should always pull the salves. That's definitely a thing. Rails are here, so the question is, oh my gosh, maybe this PC dies. That's the question though, is like how much damage can Shrike get done on this push? He definitely should be like smoking ahead of him. Oh my gosh, these assault ships picked off another ALM. Did they get a salve? No. This PC is going to be fine, actually. But some damage is done here. He manages to... Yeah, I don't know. He manages to, like, delay the third base, but I don't know how much value he really gets in the end. This AC, of course, is going to be a little bit annoying, but, surprisingly, Descara can actually kill it with assault ships if he gets enough. He could also, like, bring the carrier in. This is all 3 PCs at home, by the way. So, I mean, at the very least, what you have to say is that, Shrike has taken the pressure off of this build, you know what I mean? Although, it seems like his multitasking is getting taxed here, because, like, look how much he's floating, but... By the way, you gotta use overcharge, yeah. Overcharge takes the DPS of the assault ships down really far when they're fighting ACs. Getting hit by the railgun was really impactful though for like the Sunder. But yeah, so he's taken the momentum out, like he's not just gonna all of a sudden die, but he hasn't really gotten much... He hasn't gotten much damage done at all, like actually he hasn't really gotten damage done at all. The thing is though, Descara, like he sees pings here, but he's not reacting. Maybe he allows this assault cruiser to like come in and do damage again? But like for now, he's actually got a much stronger army kind of moving across the field here, right? And I think Shrike, if he's going to win this, he needs to get rails here. If his salve survived, it'd be so much... Yes, that's true. Like if the salvagers hadn't died here, that would have been huge. Yeah, that's a good point, Shrike. I mean, like, when he's fighting around this hill, he can use it to basically, like, never lose the soul chips against that AC, which is really powerful. You know what I've always thought would be pretty cool? Is if assault cruisers had, if they had, like, self-healing instead of this ability. Then again, I'm a Gaussian player, so I just want every unit to have self-healing, basically. Oh, look at the moves! Look at that! He opens the wreck, but he also, like, damages the AC with it. And then he loses the salvager. No, he doesn't, okay, because the focus fire changes, but he could have. What's to deny third? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this looks fine to me, because obviously if Shrike had been on a third base, this would probably have, like, smashed it, right? That's actually a really salient point there. Because obviously on Firebase, like, we don't often see this, but this third base can really be pressured really hard. Just because there's like a hill leading up to it on both sides. So it's difficult to like keep it, really. This is actually a really nice push here from Shrike. These are only assault rails too. Actually, wow, this is huge. What the heck? You said you were going Phoenix Heal, but I didn't realize, like, you actually did. Where did these AVs come from? What the crap? Oh yeah, well you definitely did take that fight. That was good value there. Oh, and he's gonna catch a rail for free here as well. The only problem is this backline, and he's gotta deal with this. This is huge. Definitely, like, smoking up would be good, because he's got speed advantage on actually all of these units. But he's gonna kill a PC here as well. Again, gotta just like smoke that out. And look at that, he's not even necessarily gonna lose his mate. He wants to be with the support cruiser though. I like the smoke, just put a smoke like right there. Yes, exactly, okay, and he's gonna kill this PC. Unfortunately he's losing this fight though, so the multitasking not quite there for him. He kills a PC though. Oh wait. Oh shoot, the second base cells went down. I didn't even see that. That's my bad. Yeah, but unfortunately he'd have to have gotten more damage because obviously he doesn't have anything to defend the main now. He got a PC kill at least. The float is pretty huge though, I'll definitely agree with that. And I noticed that in game 1 as well, so definitely something to work on there. Oh, you know what? This is also a good point. So, like, the second base salvagers had been killed. You can make the best of, like, a bad situation by pulling the carrier up here with your army, at least. Oh my gosh, it is. Nice one, Box Falvey. But it's not going to matter, because I think they die now. Oh, maybe. But yeah, like, you can bring the carrier back here, because there's no salves on the second base. You might as well have them, like, have the carrier in the fight. I just don't know what you do about this, though. But, like, this is turning out pretty scrappy. I mean, this is a good game, I'd say, actually. I mean, for sure, the mistakes that you made are, like, noticeable, but you said you played really bad this game? I don't know. This is pretty decent. Never not been mining up a second? That's true. That's definitely a good point. Light years at... I mean, at this point, for sure. But just the fact that you've made it, like... Just the fact that you've, like, made it this far, like, obviously the float really killed you here, but, you haven't died to this yet, and this is, like, a very strong style, I think, that Descara is playing here, so, like, I'm impressed. This, for sure, though, has to be the game at this point right here, because this push, I don't know what he's going to do about it. And you can see Power getting attacked by Descara, too. He's just, like, third base, screw that. We're just gonna rush it. And actually, one thing that he could do if he wanted to, that I would really love, is to start building salves. Well, I guess he just wins. Because again, this like Shrike sees this, like he knows what's going on. But yeah, he could actually like take this third base here. But yes, you're definitely right, A-Game. Like when you're playing a series, part of the series mentality is that you have to know like what you're doing before you get into the game. And so Unless it's like Boneyard where it has like pretty different spawns, right? But then figure out, you know, what build am I going to do if I get this spawn? What build am I going to do if I get this spawn? Know that before you start the game. And then figure out what you want to do. Not like during it, but, you know, before it happens. More confident with AV Rails than AV AC. Well, I think Rails would have been really good here anyway. Although Descara is probably right, the ACs actually can give a lot of value. I mean, if you look, like, you've got the skills, you know, you killed his Rails there pretty consistently, actually. It's just confidence, I guess, and, like, having a more streamlined build order. Anyway, we move on to Game 3. By the way, if only Orb was online right now, we could actually do our games on stream, but alas, doesn't look like he is. Game 3 is going to be on the Boneyard. Shrike for sure getting, well, this spawn. I think this is the one that's usually a bit better if your opponent is going like AS. It's better for them. Whereas this is the spawn that wants to go Rails in like a GVG match every time, right? But like, obviously, it's not going to be a rush like that, but I'm thinking, the assault chips are going to be strong because Descara has this spawn, I think, kind of no matter what. We'll see, though. Just because, of course, like, the way that they can use this hill and, like, this hill here to, like, stage on the main base. I'll tell you, I for sure have to eat something after this. Mr. Invisible. It's going to be ref mode again for Descara, no surprises there. He'd have loved to be able to kill that probe, but he's not going to get it. Scanner comes out here. Now, this is a scanner that I always would use. He might have been doing this whole series, I'm not sure. I feel kind of bad that I only noticed, like, just now. This is a scanner that I, like, always use when I'm playing. I shouldn't say always, but, like, more than half the time, for sure. It doesn't get vision on the carrier, so if your opponent is doing something wonky like this, oh my gosh. Actually, I love it. I'll talk about that in a moment. But, like, this scanner here is going to catch, it's going to catch, like, salvagers going to the second base. And so it's definitely, like, it's a really good scanner to know if your opponent is doing eco or not, even though it doesn't necessarily see what tech they're going for, right? And so I use this scanner a lot without putting it, like, where it can see the main base, just so that this base runner can be safe. Because if the base runner is not safe, you know, we might lose it in the early game, and it's kind of a big deal because we can get a lot of artifact pressure if we can keep this guy alive. So yeah, if I go ref mode first, I usually put the scanner here instead of like on the main. This is pretty great though. At this point, Descara probably starts wondering like, what's going on here? But he probably has already locked in AS tech. Yeah, he has. He cancels it and goes for Rails. Excellent. Okay. That is like such a pro read, and that's why Descara is such a good player, by the way, is because like he knows something fishy is going on here, and he's gonna flip his build. It's not gonna be assault chips, which he normally does, but is weak against a carrier all-in. It's gonna be railguns, which is going to hold this off, I think. So really well done by Descara. He hasn't seen this carrier, by the way, like he doesn't know yet, but he's got the read. Shrike, meanwhile, thinking he's been spotted out. Actually, he hasn't yet, but Descara does know what he's doing. He's just going to drive straight into the main base. Rail tech is done now, and you'll notice Shrike has finished LAV fab, so he probably wants to tech to rails here, but he can build LAVs, you know, and he probably should to like defend his main base, because this is actually somewhere like. You know, what are these sand skimmers going to do to this carrier? Probably nothing. But they can go down here and see if they can get some damage. So, something to think about. Maybe you can get some LAVs with this CU float here. For sure, like, RU long-distance miners would be helpful as well. But yeah. He's going to get 2 extractions for sure, it looks like. Descara picked one of them up, though, so that's not going to be available to Shrike. And then does Descara have power 1? No, but he probably won't need it. So the question is, can Descara, or can Shrike kill these, wow, Saban carriers have so much freaking range. Actually, jeez, he could win this. Dude, I think this is gonna work. Oh my gosh. Wow. Ooh. You know what? He's got CUs. Spam ALMs out, right? That's actually not a bad move here. Descara with one artifact but no power 1, he's gonna have kind of like the trifecta, if you will. I'd actually like to see him cancel speed and put it into repairs, maybe? Oh, look at this base runner. So he's retiring it, but look, you can have a targeting jammer go out onto this heavy rail. That would have been pretty hype. That's okay though. Now he's looking for oh, I see. He's retiring these base runners. This is one that came from like out in the middle of the field. I actually don't like that. I want to see him use those railguns to like, or those base runners to get more artifacts out. You've got base runner spam. I remember a really classic game of mine where this base runner actually like saved me in one of these carrier trade scenarios. So this is definitely a good idea to do. Ah, you need RUs. Alright. Well, the thing is, if he hadn't powered up his carrier armor, like, assault rails actually can do damage here, but I don't like this choice, though, because RUs are valuable. Of course, you need, I think, heavy rails. Ah, yeah, look at that, the SC lives. That's a big deal for, Shrike as well, who is currently winning this fight, just narrowly. Descara gonna dep pack the rails. I love this. He's just doing everything he can here. But I think Shrike is gonna win this. Are BRs really worth it? Well, I think actually no. I'm gonna go back on what I said earlier because I think he needs the RUs, but they can heal probably like 1,000 HP on the carrier or something. They heal Shrike too, yeah, that's true actually, but he can position them so they don't. Like, this is a bad heal. You want to go there, and then pop the heal so it doesn't end up healing Shrike as well. But it definitely heals allies a lot more than it heals enemies, so... It was an intended feature, I think. Right? That base runner heal also heals allies, but like a little bit. It's a really interesting aspect of base runner heal. Oh yeah, the ALMs. Actually, that's a really good point for like why these heavy rails wouldn't necessarily be a good choice. This is getting pretty down to the wire, dude. For sure, power 1 could have been teched here though. You see, this is what I'm talking about with confidence, right? Because you knew, you know. You knew, like, what build you were going to do before you started the game. That makes all the difference, man, I'm telling you. This was decisive. One thing I'll say, actually, for Descara, so... What you want to do with these base runners, you want to build them and then pop a heal and instantly retire them. So... Because that way, like, obviously the base runner heal is like a really long cooldown, but you can actually almost constantly produce them. Excuse me, hiccups again. You can almost constantly produce them even with like low eco, if you just like keep retiring them, because it gives you back, I'm thinking like 37 RUs and it costs like 50. So yeah, I mean you can get like a lot of freaking base runner heals off before you lose. Or before you win, of course, you know. But well done, Shrike. What a freaking build. I mean, I've got to say, like, when I saw it, I was, like, really excited because, you know, I like this idea, but I didn't think it was actually going to work. But, like, there you go. Nicely done. Definitely what he needed, by the way. Keep himself in this series, because the scoreline is 2-1. Let's jump into game 4. It's going to be on tight end passage. This is going to be Shrike's pick, by the way. Yeah, the only way to play patch is to play eco. Oh. I'm advertising stream again. Moose wanted to play, but of course, we're in fact about to cast a game of his. But we'll get to that in a moment. Tight End Passage, of course, is going to be game 4. Now this is a map that has lots of like air over here around the well, actually it's sand, but you know what I'm saying, around the main bases. So this is a map that I think favors like aggression in a lot of cases, but yeah, it's a chess term technically, I suppose. For sure though, this is a map you got to recognize, like it's very easy to siege on the bases. Like this high ground leading into this this spawn's second base. And then this base here has high ground leading onto its third, and like a weird ridge onto its second. It's like, honestly, I don't know which one is worse, but they're both bad. So definitely a map I think you want to be aggressive on, but you can often see this map kind of stall out with the green player kind of taking control of like this hill, and the red player taking control of this one. It's an interesting map for sure. Lots of talk of removing this one for the tournament pool, or perhaps I think more fun would be like to make a layout for it, but I don't really know how much ground we have available to us in this one. There's a 3v3 map, you know, that involves like you start on like these sides of the crater, but that would be just like way too big for 1v1. Yeah, so in chess when you castle, you're really like nice and snug there, you know what I mean? And if you move the pawns up too far, you say that there's too much air around your king, so it's like a chess term, but I think it applies pretty well to this map. It's kind of the same concept, right? Well, actually, it's not the same concept at all, because it has to do with vision, but you get my point. Like, you can hide things like so far back here, so... Oh no. Don't tell me you went like back and forth, back and forth. Sorry, I actually didn't like see what your build was here, but... Uh-oh. Yeah, see, I don't like doing that twice in a series, because I think once you do it once, your opponent is like, yeah, I'm not gonna die to this, you know what I mean? And for sure, Descara is gonna hold this one. No, you actually want to go this way, because again, this map has, again, like I said, so much air on it, right? Like, you actually want to be... Well, I guess the base runner... Oh, okay. Sorry, that's actually pretty smart. The base runner saw you, or would have seen you, so you move, like, the other direction. Oh, that's kind of smart. But yeah, I don't like doing this twice in a series. Although, one thing that you can do, perhaps, and I'm sure this is not, like, in your game plan, but it could work, is bring these two guys over here, and then actually like have the carrier sort of park on your opponent's second, push them off of it, and then pull back over to here, build rails and siege the second, and then just like mine off of his third base. And you might actually be able to pull that off. For sure though, carrier scouted here, second base runner scouted here, Descara gonna know exactly what's going on, rail fab has started. So what he wants to do differently this time is just have more rails and kite them a little bit better. He has a good high ground back here, but it's difficult to like get into the corner of the map because he might get killed off. If those heavy rails can stay alive, for sure he wins. So that's what he's going to want to do. A couple of skims being produced here as well. He wants to give some grief to base runners if he can, and to the main base. Obviously, if Shrike loses his main base, this for sure isn't going to work. But also, I think if these sand skimmers can stop this extract, then for sure Shrike is going to lose, right? I did notice that, yeah, the carrier block was pretty intense there. So Descara's carrier is just going to drive out to meet him. He doesn't have any power and weapons though, so I'm not really a huge fan of this, but I think he's just trying to get on top of the carrier so that he can kill any rails immediately. Yeah, I actually would really like to see the crater actually playable in a 1v1 map here. Okay, so there we go. The base runner does go down in the end, so that's not going to be a second extraction for Shrike. He's on power 2, but now the Sand Skimmers, there's a lot more of them this time, so they can actually go down for the, he can go down and, like, take out the expansion there, I think. Descara's carrier, again, getting kind of dangerously low here. You can see once more assault rails being produced, as well as base frames for the heal. But I'm pretty sure that if Descara can kill his opponent's base, he's going to be fine. Want to respect, by the way, earlier, I noticed the micro to, like, keep these guys from trying to drop off on the carrier. That was smart. I don't know. Actually, I thought pretty confidently Descara could, like, hold this one off, but I'm not sure now. This looks a little grim. This heavy rail is still alive, though, which is a big deal. He wants to definitely be focusing this carrier, though. And this heavy rail should have been kiting, too. To, like, keep away from this LAV. So it does go down. Carrier's down to 2,700. And we're getting close again. This could go either way. That's true, you only have 1 power and armor, so the AR are doing a lot more damage this time. There's another heavy rail though. Once they get killed here, the AR for sure should have targeted LAV. It's okay though, it goes down. And this heavy rail wants to just get as far away as it can, so one carrier doesn't seem to, like, notice it. Uh-oh. If this heavy rail lives, that could really be, like, the game right there. ALM is deployed on top of it to try and get the kill, but Shrike is actually kind of running out of CUs, so he's not going to be able to spam many more of those. Main base is getting taken out, so down he goes. And this heavy rail is still alive. Main base is taken out of eco, and it looks like Shrike actually is going to lose this one in the end. Crazy though, dude. Like, he actually nearly pulled this one through. That's insane. That would have taken it to an ace match, dude, if you could have made this work. But it doesn't look like it's going to now. Well, LAVs are out, actually. I mean, there's just no eco, though, right, for Shrike? I mean, there's no way he can make this work. Yeah, I'd say, like, honestly, that was a good attempt. Like I said, I don't like trying this twice in a series, but, you know, he nearly made it work. That was pretty cool, but doesn't end up getting it, so the series is going to go 3-1 to Descara. But Shrike pulling out some interesting moves there, nearly manages to take it to an ace match.